bam. There we are. Can you hear me? Everybody hear everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all quiet. It was all quiet.
It's that big fuzzy thing in
You
front
guys
of you.
could
We
have just
can hear
moved your mouth, acted like you're talking, and really messed me up.
you. What is that?
That
WSMR?
mule? Yeah, yep. I don't know if anybody was on last show, but that mule got out. That mule of mine right there that was running away from me on the trailer. My wife goes out to feed, and sorry if he's on Monday, you can hear story though. She calls me and says, "Hey, where's your mule?" I said, "It's out in the pasture." "I don't think so." I said, she hides by the trailer." "No, I don't see her anywhere." I'm like, I'm like about getting a shower, standing there in my birthday suit. So I get dressed, go out there, and she's gone. And there's a little man gate in the corner. She always stands in that corner too. And I think she finally realized the man gate's gone. So she got out and went for a walk. My wife was tracking her out. I get to start headed that way, and she calls me and says, "Oh, she's right here." I called her, and she came running to me. And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird. She always runs from me, and I try to saddle her." I walk out in that alley, and I spook her a little bit, and she sees me and kind of runs off and turns around because I yell at her, "Sage!" And she turns like a dog that hadn't seen its owner for a while and runs right down that alley at me, right up to me, and lets me catch her, which is kind of weird.
That's a good mule.
You guys watch any of my videos? She's always running from me.
Well, that's pretty lucky because my wife told me that
I was
she
talking
hadn't
about
seen the
that
mule.
Monday night.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think he's delayed, Benny.
It'd have been gone. I must be delayed. My internet's being so stupid right now.
You look like one of those old Kung Fu movies.
I'm glitching.
We hear you and then your mouth moves
I don't know,
for like 20 minutes.
It'll catch up. It'll catch up. Maybe you guys just talk and I'll just sit here and watch.
And they said I talk slow.
Yeah, my wife told me a while back that she hadn't seen the mules for a couple of days and they hadn't eaten their feed from the day before or the day before that. And I thought, well, that's not good. So I go to looking and I put the word out and they showed up. Oh, they got over to the Pecos River, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, should have been 5 or 6 fences. And somebody spots them down there. Well, there's no fence from Roswell clear down into Texas along the river because of the floods we had. And so I'm thinking, well, I guess I don't have time and I'm leaving town. I guess that's the last I see of those dirty pigs. And the next day, my neighbor said, "Hey, I just saw your mules crossing the highway headed back your direction." So I called my son and he jumped on the razor and on my razor he was going to go out across the country and try to locate them, and he looked up on the hill right there by the house and they were already coming back. So they've been in solitary since then.
That's a lucky deal though.
Mine's not as nice as Chris's. That white mule I got, she'd give me the paw and keep on going.
I had an old horse one time that would open the gate and let everybody else out, and he'd meet you under the carport.
Waiting for food. Yep.
Yeah, I had a thoroughbred for my whole life, and he could jump out of anything that we put him in. So he'd just jump out and be eating in the yard and jump back in.
Go ahead and talk, Chris.
Rowdy has a story to tell.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Talking about that last lion I caught? You there?
Didn't you just go hunting?
Yeah, well, this weekend, yeah.
Am I delayed again?
A couple days.
Yes.
So yeah, I went out a couple days this weekend.
Go ahead, Rowdy.
Went out Saturday, left the house, or got up at 3:30, met a buddy at the gas station about 4:30, drove a couple hours out to where we're gonna hunt, and went to go try one canyon, but is blocked off by some private property, so I couldn't go up that canyon. So we both went up another well-known canyon that I'm not going to say the name of because everybody knows it in the area. But so went up that canyon, and we went probably about 3 miles up the canyon, and my buddy was in front of me in his Jeep, and he cut a track and hit me on the radio, and so I went up there, and it's just a little female track, and I let my females out on it because they needed a good fresh track for them, be their first that they treat on their own. Took them about 30 minutes, and they were barking treed, so we gave them about another 15-20 minutes to make sure it wasn't going to jump out or anything. Started heading up there. It took me a little over an hour, almost hour and a half to get the half mile, just because it was so steep and icy. Took my buddies another hour and a half to catch up. So all said and done, we're sitting there looking at her. I'm like, hey, you guys, it won't bother you guys if I jump her out real quick for the dogs, would it? And they're like, no. So I jumped her out. She made a mad dash, went about almost 400 yards, and then treed up again. Well, all of a sudden the dogs went quiet after about 30 seconds. And then I look at the Garmin and they're moving. I'm like, what the heck are they doing? So I assumed that she jumped again. They start treeing again after about almost 500 yards, and we gave them a few more minutes and said, all right, they're sitting pretty solid. Let's go down there. About a 300-yard hike down from where they were treed to where we were at to where they finally treed. Get down there, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this ain't the same cat. I start walking around the tree going, what the heck is going on? This ain't the same cat. And I yell back to my buddies, I go, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but this ain't the same cat. And they're like, what? Yeah, it is. So they get down there and like, holy crap, that's not the same cat. It was a Tom. So thinking back now, two of my dogs kept, as soon as, they would mellow out, two of the dogs would walk off, go wandering. And both of them went the same direction 2 or 3 times over the hour and a half that I was waiting on the rest of my buddies to catch up. And I didn't even click. So he was treed right there, just out of sight. And then when I jumped her out, she ran right underneath him. And I don't know the series of events, but he ended up jumping out too. And the dogs knew about him and treed him and her at the same time. So that was a pretty cool day. I had 2 guys with me that had never seen lions before, so they got to see 2 lions in one day.
That's pretty cool that your dogs caught some lions in a relay race.
Yeah, I was just tickled pink, man. I smile on my face for the rest of the day.
You told those guys, those were professional dogs, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Puppies.
He's the best in the state.
It's how easy it is all the time.
That's right.
Yeah. Anybody
Let me show up.
lion. Yeah.
Let me show up. It won't be easy anymore. Will it, Jared?
It was
Chris.
It was straight up and over backwards country. In the half mile that we went, we climbed 1,100 feet in a half a mile. Yeah, it was straight steep, and then on top of that there was ice patches.
Don't take Jeremy with you. Your dogs will switch over to squirrels.
Or skunks.
And you'll end up missing them.
Man,
I need my help. I can't catch him without him around. We keep him away from me.
back when I was running hogs, I'd occasionally have issues with skunks, but out here in Nevada, it seems like there's not too many, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong missing a skunk race.
Yeah, I've only seen
Or porcupines.
Oh,
don't even,
porcupines are rough.
I'm afraid when that's going to happen. But since I've been here, I think I've seen a total of maybe 5 skunks. 4 of them were hit on the road, and only one was on the while I was hunting, and that was just back in September, right before deer season.
I used to get into them a lot when I was coon hunting up in northern Utah. We'd hit skunks and porcupines with the pups. It was awful.
Yeah. When I used
There's
to
no good part of a
hunt-
porcupine.
No,
when I would coon hunt in Montana,
I don't like porcupines.
I tell you what, y'all talk about coon hunting out west. I ain't never seen a coon since I've been out here. So I don't think they exist.
well, you live in the damn desert. Coons don't tree on saguaros, bud. Just saying, you got to have water and trees.
I don't hunt
Or a
here
choya.
though. I drive all over the state and hunt, and I just ain't. Everybody's like, "Oh, they're all up here in TB." I never seen one.
I didn't see one while I was up there.
Maybe I'm just too spoiled. You know what I mean? Back east, you just see them every 2 feet. You know, going down the road. But
Yeah, it's different world back there when it comes to coons. They're all over compared to out here. Here you got to hit the right pockets. You know, when I lived in northern Utah, we had some pretty good spots, but there was a lot of river bottoms, a lot of water, and it made a lot of difference for sure.
yeah, same with the bears, man. It's a lot easier back east. I tell you what, same as Alaska, it's way easier.
Mm-hmm.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. Old Derek thought he was going to come down to smoke us desert boys.
I did. I thought I was going to show y'all what it was about. I was like, y'all just got these slow dogs. I'm going to show you got some speed demons. I'm going to show you what it is. I'm going to tear them up. Except for there just ain't no bears in this whole section. So you got to go somewhere else and find one. And time you find one, you've done walked 8 miles. Now they're going to do 15 more over the top of the god awfulest piece of country you ever seen. And yeah.
Yep.
No, I thought I really talked a whole bunch of shit. Thought I was going to show y'all what time it was. And no, this desert ain't no joke.
It's state to state's a different thing. The terrain, the dirt, the soils, just everything. Even game runs different state to state. It's crazy how much it varies with game, terrain, anything like that.
Well, and your temperatures.
I think mentally,
humidity.
just coming to a different area, you act different.
Yeah, you get all your humidities and
I think I'm delayed
your
again.
soil composition. No, you're good, Chris. You're on point. But your soil compositions, the amount of rock, the ledges, everything comes into play.
Oh, definitely, Benny. I mean, you look at them guys like on the West Coast, you know, up in Oregon and that they're rigging bobcats and running bobcats in the dirt and things like that. It's a whole different world with that humidity and the vegetation they have versus down here.
Yep.
You know,
Yellow grass.
It's crazy. You know, up there they get the ferns and a lot of underbrush and things like that, but also humidity, barometric pressure, temperature all plays a huge thing in the way that scent falls and where it lays and how long it will last. And it's just a science that I don't think anyone can perfect. And going state to state, hell, even driving 2 hours from one section of Arizona to the next, your trailing conditions are going to drastically change. It's nuts.
Yeah, because in that 2 hours, you can cross between different ranges, and you're going to have total different weather patterns. You might have a high pressure where you're at, so that you wake up in the morning, all that smoke is setting down low from the chimneys, and you go 2 hours to the east, and you're going to hit a low pressure, and there ain't no smoke left in the valley. It's just all that air is rising up.
Exactly.
So
you can go where Chris is staying over by Maricopa, and just drive. Get on I-10 and go straight north, and just pull over at Black Canyon City and see the difference in everything, every condition we're talking about right now.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. And I can't.
I
get a
don't know
feed
what
on.
y'all are talking about because I ain't got no dirt. All I got is water.
Yeah, you live in a
Look at-
swamp. All
See,
you
look
care
at-
about is it 6 inches deep or 3 feet deep?
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to put a life jacket on your coon dog down there.
That's what I told Jared the other day. I needed to borrow some money for some floaties.
Yeah.
And the first time I was out there with swamps and a big old alligators
Yep.
rubbed my leg, I'd have left some floaties.
Hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
You
I'm
might
with you
know
there,
about them
Benny.
this time of the year.
Oh, nope.
Yeah, they go to bed in the wintertime, don't they? They like
Yeah.
sleep up.
Well, that's good. At least you guys get a break from them.
Till it turns 80 degrees for 2 days and then they're back out.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to hear another story from Jared. Who was that? James Myers. Highlight that again, Chris. He asked a question for Jared.
Oh,
James,
if you
Oh.
found
Did you get a
dog.
new dog?
I did. I pick him up Saturday at the rodeo.
Nice.
So ended up lucking out, and last week when I was on, a guy called me and said he had a dog for sale and had to jump off real quick and talk to him about it. So yeah,
Man, Jared's just having a good week, ain't you?
I am.
Yeah.
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 I know.
Yeah.
Evan Anderson gave him his winnings.
Yep.
Yeah, I got him right
now,
here.
Now
They're
he's
headed,
out of that. He's going to be
they're
out of
headed
that.
to Jared
Astro.
tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to 300, Jared?
I did.
Yes,
We
sir.
already
You
hooked
love
our
playing
shit
good
up
life.
to it. We know where
Mhm.
you are.
I got in there and put some parameters on there that I'll know where Jared
That's why to
goes.
get me to go down and
Hey, Justin, give me that
I
number,
can,
that
when you leave an
handheld.
area, it alerts you. Mhm.
Yep.
Everything comes with a
We're gonna
price.
sell it. We're gonna raffle his number off, his tracking number.
There you
I'll
go.
take 20 spots on that there, Chris.
There you go.
Yep.
He'll send y'all to a gar hole first.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Hey, Jared,
elk
just,
season. That's what he's talking
I'll send
about.
you my map card,
There we go.
the Louisiana map card. Find a line here.
Yep.
So any of you guys who put in for elk, I guess they're hitting credit cards.
Yeah, I got hit once.
Richard,
so
I don't even.
Either me or the missus or the kid got drawn. I don't know which one of us, but it hit the card this one.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't.
New Mexico.
I don't
or-
even put in. That's elk in Arizona.
Oh, Elk, Arizona. I got you.
I wish I wouldn't have. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Elk and antelope, I think.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
elk and antelope.
Yeah, it is. But
How
I
is
got
it-
over the counter in my backyard, so I don't even put in no more.
Yeah, I feel you. That's
So
I'm all about the over the counter
just go
or
in my
easiest to
backyard with
draw
my
tags.
golf club and scope.
Man, I tell you what, I thought I was going to tear that up out here
Yep.
too. I was like, I'm going to take this thing right here, and I'm just going to handle it. Yeah, right. You can't get close to these critters.
That
They can
longbow's
see
a
you
whole
from
different
big
world.
miles
Bud.
away. I never had no trouble. Moose are easy. Whitetail are easy. Like, no trouble. And I get out here, I'm like, shit. I can't shoot 150 yards of this thing.
No,
There they go.
it's a different world when the trees aren't thick and you have to be within 20 yards to see them.
It really
Yeah.
is. It's huge
Those
It's
change.
deer
wild.
hunters down there at Jared get like heat-seeking missiles and stuff mounted to their buggies. So
Yeah.
they can shoot 6 canyons over.
Dude, I got a buddy with the 90 millimeter objective lens, a $7,000 rifle, and he's got that stupid BTX, and we're glassing, we're coos deer hunting, and I'm like, I got a buck, and he's like, how big? And I'm like, it's a spike. And he's like, okay, give me the gun. He's got a $7,000 rifle, a $5,000 spotting scope, and he'll dump a spike at 800 yards. And I'm like, you can go get him, dude. I'm not gonna walk over there.
He don't have the same last name as
Yep.
as I do, does he?
No.
Okay. Making sure he's not Ken.
I
So
tell you
Derek,
what. What's that,
have you
Benny?
tried? I was gonna say, have you tried to slip up on a Coos whitetail? Because they're different than the rest of the whitetails.
Yep.
Yeah, I learned that. It I was looking at one at 53 yards, and I was like, and I can't get any closer. And there
No,
is
that's
nothing I
pretty
can do.
close.
Kentucky windage.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
I can do 40 with this, but I can't do any farther. And on a deer that small, I don't know if I'd want to do that. I'd shoot a moose at 40, but I don't know if I'd shoot a little deer.
Knock 3 arrows and hope for the best.
Yep.
Cubby shoot them.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I told the missus I was going to take her compound next time. Just quit fucking around.
So have you spread
Yep.
the word back to your friends and family back home that it's not like you thought it would be?
Yeah. Well, my dad tried to tell me. He's a big long distance fella. He's got a big $5,000-$6,000 300 Weatherby. He shoots stuff far away like that. We'd hunt together, and he's got that thing, and I'd be with the flintlock. You know, I always made fun of him. Can't get no closer than that. You don't need to leave the house. Well, I guess I just need to stay at the house. Can't get no closer than that. Yeah. I did put a scope on my rifle.
Jared, you been out at all?
Have I? Not. I went out Sunday this week, and that was it. But I found 4 different tracks that were all a day old. But that was it.
Jared's in a hurry to get that dog, and he's trying to get me to come down and get me and Derek's dog.
Yeah, dude. Them puppies
Oh,
last
Derek.
night. Them puppies last night. I tried giving them 10 pounds of wet dog food last night, so they'd shut up at midnight. I was done with them.
He says, when are you going to come get your dogs, Chris? I said, when are they ready? They're ready now. They're ready now.
They were ready at 3 o'clock.
I think Jared had them ready at 2 weeks old.
Yep.
Once them pups hit about
Yep.
5 weeks old, they are nothing but a pain in the ass.
No.
Oh, yeah.
These ones they just turned 6 weeks.
Oh, they're rough. You can't control them. They don't shut up. They just
No.
So how come you guys keep them past 5 weeks?
You mean to let
I
them
haven't
go?
been down there to get them.
Yeah, no one's been down here to get them. Heck yeah.
I always had mine eaten and ready to roll at 5 weeks. They're
I'm
gone.
trying.
It's like when the
Yeah.
kids turned 18 and my wife gave them their last breakfast and threw them out. You know?
Last meal.
Last supper.
My dad did that to me when I moved out. My dad helped me move out of into my apartment when I turned 18, and he was helping me move into my apartment. And after we got all moved in, he took me to a steakhouse, and I was like, thanks. And he's like, did you enjoy it? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, good, because it's the last one I'm ever buying.
18 years of supporting you. Now it's your turn.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since you off
Boy.
with a bang.
Mm-hmm. But he'll still tell you what to do, won't he?
Oh yeah. I was only an hour from the house. He'd still call me if he had needed help for something. I had to drive up in the evening or something.
I'll meet
Come
you
on
at
up
the
here and go
steakhouse
run this
first.
tractor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I got a son that lives right here next door. I told all 3 kids, if you guys live here and build here, I'll give you some property. So Justin's the only one that did it, and I gave him 20 acres. And I told the rest of the kids, I said, but the deal is you guys are now out of the will. Justin has to stay there till I'm dead because somebody's got to wipe my butt when I get old.
Got him.
So there's always some of those strings, Jared.
Yep. There is.
Gotta learn how to work it. Everybody says, why do you have so many kids? I was just telling my dad today, shoot, my youngest are 6 years old. So I have at least 12 more years of someone feeding my dogs. By then I'll be in my 60s. So
Yep. By
When you
then,
can
and by
retire.
then they'll be
The
feeding you.
grandkids. The grandkids should be old enough by then.
Oh, perfect.
You're getting.
Yeah.
How many? You got any grandkids yet? You old fart.
5 or 6.
Hey, who are you talking to?
Oh, I'm talking to Chris.
2. I have.
I'm in between
5.
y'all, and he's got a
I have
spear.
6.
6.
Yep, I have
Jeez.
6 of them. So
Man,
9 kids and 6 grandkids.
Mhm.
9 kids I know about and 6 grandkids.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
was doing
say.
I was doing a PI case the other day, and there's this. I was looking for a dude, and I come across a mutual friend. I'm like, well, I come across one of his friends that had a mutual friend on Facebook. Well, that's weird. Well, it's from Sholo. So she's about some of my kids' age. So I started sending pictures. I said, hey, do you know this girl? You know this girl? My one daughter said, no. She goes, why? I said, she got pregnant 5 years ago from me, and that's one of my kids.
trying to
Like,
get back in
oh.
touch.
Chris is gonna
Yeah,
get hired to
she-
do a PI
I
case
said,
for a lost dad, and it's gonna be him.
No, he's gonna be like Dewey Cox.
He'll
And find out
never-
there's a whole plethora of little Chris kids.
Have you ever seen
is
seen
that,
that?
is that the
There's a movie out there that the guy donates to the sperm
that the
bank, and he ends up
fertility
having
guy?
like 300 kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
That's
I'm
gonna
talking
be
about.
I
Chris.
thought it was like 600.
Oh, well, either
Yeah.
way, but you're getting
Maybe.
there.
Yeah, somebody did a 23andMe and ended up with like 500 brothers and sisters, and it was all
Holy
from the
cow.
same
Yeah.
guy. Yeah. Yep, he was
That's
swapping it
really
out.
Chris, the walking donor.
Mhm.
Well, you want to get politics over with? Jared loves politics,
Politics.
don't you, Jared?
No, I hate him.
Jared said, what are we
Hate
talking about
talking
tonight? I said,
about 'em.
well, I got to talk about this and this. He goes, politics again. I said, well, we're just going to let everybody know. But
Hey, let
basically,
me tell you guys.
we got word
Let
that.
me tell you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say. Let me.
No, go ahead.
Let me tell you guys. Let me tell you guys what's taking place in Arizona. I don't know who it is, but somebody in the game department there's a guy that's been snaring lions over there in the bighorn sheep stuff. I don't know who it is. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that just recently over in the Tonto Basin area, a tom lion had been not able to be located again, and so they were looking into the situation, and the lion killed a bighorn sheep that had a collar on it. And so whoever it is that's in charge of that in the game department told the guy from now on, anytime you got a free rein. And I guess the guy had dogs, and his dogs aren't that good. His snares are a lot better. So he just told him from now on, it's open range, open season on any lions if there's bighorn sheep around. So that's not going to help the lion hunting in the desert either.
No, that's what
They did the
That's
same thing in
politics.
Nevada.
No, because there's
any bighorn sheep unit in
Yeah.
any state, they just let them have it. Like Utah, if it's a bighorn unit in Utah, for the most part, even before Utah did all their stupid stuff, a lot of those bighorn units were unlimited or had high quotas, just because and I don't understand it, because those bighorn can get around so great in that shit, but it's like they're
It's
just
a-
easy picking for them lions. They're just
It's
dumb.
the summer months that kill the sheep. So where me and Rowdy would hunt in Nevada, I killed 11 lions in there from a January to July one time. And then 2 years later, I moved to Arizona for hunting, and no one was in there for a year. They ended up neck snaring 13.
Yeah, buddy of mine just talked to the biologist right here in Fallon, and in one of the units that we've been hunting, they said to take as many females as you can catch. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, we just pulled a bunch of Mustangs out of there, and now they've got nothing but deer and sheep to eat. So
And there's no deer over there.
yeah, exactly. And
I've never ran a deer. I've never ran a line off a deer kill over there.
yeah, I've seen more deer in the last 6 months than I did in the 4 years prior to that.
Prior.
Yeah.
But
So-
in there, in those sheep units, I mean, because I have buddies that are sheep guides in Nevada, and in the summer months I just hunt that sheep country. They set these water guzzlers right here, and then 30 feet, 20 feet to either direction, they have the storage tanks with the shade covers. Well, they don't fence off the shade cover because the sheep like using them.
Mhm.
Well, guess what else he's going to use them?
Lion.
And all he's got to do is jump 20 feet.
Yep.
It's just a killing field.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to a buddy of mine in Nevada last week, and he found seven lion kills off one guzzler from a summer.
Jesus.
That's
Yeah,
nuts.
I mean, well, once they figure it out that because when it gets 106 in that country in the summer, I mean, those sheep got to water even in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So
And them lions, they're smart. Once they figure out something like that, they're going to capitalize on it. I had a canyon that would come down to some water that was in some remote country out in Utah, and elk would travel it constantly, day after day. And once a Tom had figured that out, I came in there after not being in there for like a month, and he had figured it out, and he had 3 or 4 piled up in that canyon.
Shoot.
Just because he knew he could do it. So it was an opportunistic thing that he just kept piling them up because he couldn't help himself.
Yep.
You know, it's because
So, had he fed on them?
He had fed on them quite a bit,
Okay.
but I mean, he had more than he could live off for a while. It was just, and I don't know if he just all of a sudden kept getting bumps that they were coming down, so he'd go up and hide again and hit another opportunity, you know.
That
But
could be.
it was crazy to me how quick he could pile them up in that little draw. Just, I mean, it worked kind of like those shade coverings. You know, he was on a ledge, and it was just they'd come through, pile on him, and away you'd go.
Yep.
And bush.
So Brett, yeah, and Brett pardon me, Chris, on another deal. You're over there with the game department and all of that quite a bit. What about this fake picture of those 2 jaguars they say are in southern Arizona?
I think that's not in. I think that's in Mexico or somewhere. Or somewhere else. I don't think so. What happens? You think about it. They're going to try to say it's a breeding pair, right?
Yeah.
So they'll have to authenticate the video, but I mean,
I thought somebody debunked that already.
the whole
Yeah, I thought
Jaguar
it
in
was from
Arizona
down
thing
in like Argentina or something.
Yeah, that video is 2 years ago in South America.
Yeah.
But I just wonder how much
Yeah,
how
and
much
it's-
controversy that
so
stirred up.
Oh, it's what they're going to do. It don't matter if it's true or not. Even though the nonprofit rules for a C3 is you can't mislead. Those guys mislead all the time.
Oh,
all the time.
yeah.
And
All
if
they
you-
do
Intentionally,
is-
the
not
common
even
public-
accidentally. It's intentionally.
No, it's intentional, and it says do not intentionally mislead. Like I'll have to pull the rules up for you guys one time. But
yeah, it's
the common. This is what people don't understand. This is what people like that Dean Ross guy or all these people understand. We like these videos of bears getting drug up a tree. The anti-hunters don't. This is us. This is the anti-hunters. This is the public, the common uneducated public in between, which is a big chunk, right?
Yep.
We don't care about the hunters. We don't care about the anti-hunters. We care about the common public. So when the common public sees a dog getting drugged 30 feet up a tree or 2 jaguars walking across the road, they don't fact check it because they're not hunting. They're not wildlife management material. They're not looking for an excuse to say, don't hunt. We're not looking for an excuse to say not to hunt or to hunt. They don't care. You know, how many times have you talked to somebody that said, I seen that on TikTok, I seen that on Facebook, I seen that on, you know, there's good news and there's bad news, and it's everywhere. Fox, CNN, TikTok. I find out more news on TikTok, Instagram, and then you check it out. You start looking it up, you know, and that's we'll segue into that whole forestry let go thing that's causing all these problems too. But the common public is what you have to think about. People like Dean Ross, who calls me out and says our organizations are junk and it's leftovers, is not thinking. He's thinking about himself. He's selfish, thinking about the hunters. You got to think about the common public who does not know.
And that
So when you walk up to a guy,
98% can be
you show
swayed
him a
left or
video.
right.
Yeah.
Well, they're
those are the
uneducated.
people who say you can't or cannot hunt with one line on a ballot initiative. And there's many times, if you look at that one line, and Colorado went through this and fought it, that it says help preserve mountain lion conservation and wildlife management and all this. I would vote for that. Sounds good, right? Help save the mountain lion. Let's keep the mountain lion up. But they don't read the fine print. Nobody, 2% of the people, you go in, Prop 134, you know, hey, I don't even know what the title was on it. I don't even remember. But no one knew what it was about. And that would have saved all of our hunting. That would have saved all of this, not just hunting, but that would have made it more. We're not a democracy. We're a republic. This is what people don't understand either. That democracy gets used. Democratic is just a title. Republican is just a title. And believe me, last year I didn't give a shit about I don't care about Republicans, Democrats anyway. But you have to think about we're a republic. Everybody thinks we're a democracy. But persuasion. We get a lot of people. Dustin's got a lot of people. People always ask, how can we help the AWDA? You share the stuff so people can read it. Because I did a TikTok that said, when you go to the CBD page, the first thing on it, right in the first, donate a month, 20 a month, 10 a month, 100 a month, 50 a month. You know, that's how they're making money.
Yeah,
I can't get houndsmen to put $50 down a year hardly. You know,
And
everybody
it's
can
tough,
afford
man.
$20 a month. You know, we all do it.
And it's all really on how they tug at heartstrings. And when it matters to us, we'll throw in the fight when it matters. But the problem with people, and I say this lightly, but the problem with hunters like us is we're not going to put in to the fight unless there's a fight. We're not going to prepare for it until there is a fight, which is backwards of how it should be. Whereas like the CBD or whatever the shit these antis are, they're always raising funds constantly, year round, all the time. Whereas hunters are like, oh shit, we're backed into a corner. Let's full throttle it instead of being ahead of it. And that's what Chris is trying to accomplish. Chris is trying to be ahead of it versus waiting for the fight and then, oh, we got to throw in now. He's trying to beat the fight.
yeah.
Proactive, not reactive.
Offense.
Yeah.
Offense. And every action has a reaction. And the problem is the other side always has an action. And we're always have to come back with the reaction. And by then it's too late. They're constantly go to CBD website and look at all the crap they're going against. It's ridiculous. It's building shades for mice in Argentina.
Their whole thing is, look how many lawsuits we've won. It's a brag page.
Because their whole staff, every one of their members and board members are paralegals and lawyers.
Yep.
Because they're I just watched a movie I just watched, Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick. Have you guys seen any of that? It's a space movie. Well,
Yeah.
Riddick, the last one that came out, he said, I screwed up in my life. I became civilized. And that's what happened to us.
That's a
As
true story.
Outdoorsmen, we became civilized, and we don't pay
I'm
attention.
still feral.
You can sit on your internet on your phone. People will sit on their phones, houndsmen in camp, and look at wobbly titties all day instead of look up what's going on in legislature. Listen, I'm not okay. Let me correct myself.
Where is that? Where is that, Chris?
I do both. I'll
No,
post
tell
it on I'll
Where?
post it on AZWDA.
I mean, I'm just curious. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm curious. Where do you find that?
All right, you're
If I
gonna
had
be
a
wearing a
girl
big
that could come
tulip
up here
right there.
and sat in the middle, and, yeah,
He wants to.
That
and
aluminum
we don't
pot might be unhealthy.
we don't
Benny.
take the time. For the higher up, let me see. For the higher up in the anti-hunting group, that's a money grab. Oh, and you're right. Jesus is
Yeah,
paying
absolutely.
their CEO $600,000 a year or something stupid.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to get the AWDA to buy me a bag of dog food so I don't go broke.
Yeah. Well,
What did
So-
Jeremy fall down?
maybe.
I think he talked about that frying pan to the head, and he disappeared.
He
We talked
foreshadowed
about
the old lady
wobbly
getting mad at
titties,
him.
and he disappeared on us.
You must have went to find some.
But what you're
So
talking
they have
about,
a
Chris, is
passion. They have the same.
you got to build a foundation.
What is it?
You have to build a foundation, and that foundation for this fight and every part of this fight is money. And if you come in like
Yeah.
you're talking about, Dustin, and oh my gosh, here we are, it was almost that way for Colorado.
It
A
was.
knee-jerk reaction. And a knee-jerk reaction means you're behind the 8 ball and you're getting ready to lose the fight. And so if you have all of this training and you have all of this foundation built up, you stand a better chance.
Yep. Exactly.
And the amount of people that I've had
And we
say to
and
me,
honestly,
"Well, go through it." Yeah, the amount of people that I've had say to me, "Well, the Game and Fish Commission, they threw that petition out. We don't got nothing to worry about. We don't need to worry about it. What are y'all doing?" Dude, it's gonna come back. They're gonna sue us. They're gonna take us to the legislature. They're gonna put it on the ballot, and we can't fight it.
All that
commercial
was.
with a
It's
South
our-
American Jaguar in it's gonna raise them $1 billion, and we're over here with
Yeah.
$3 to rub together. Can't do nothing about it. We're gonna lose everything.
All
Yep.
that was
Yep.
a test. That was a
Yep.
test to see if we were going to fight back. We fought back,
Mhm.
so now they know how much force they have to come with the next one. All it
And they're
was
gonna
was
come
just a
hard.
test.
And they're gonna
That's
freaking
right.
They have two of
hammer
them.
us.
Yep.
I
You're
heard
right, Rowdy.
they have two of them, 2 petitions now, one for each rule. And if it, I mean, this is just dust in the wind right now. I'll just say I'm making it up. But if they repetition the April to March,
Yeah.
they'd have to bring it to March because
Yeah,
April
it's a
would
nice
make
truck.
it 62 days. So,
Yeah.
so then you have to say, hey guys, it's not going to fall on 60 days.
Yeah.
You guys are going to have to accept 62 days. And they may say, no, we're not. But bring it up in March. Bring it up in March right now. Put it on the March agenda right now
Good job.
so I can get, and now,
Gotta put those
honestly,
matches on, huh?
all you people sitting around in Arizona, there was 60 the time before. Even if it's not on the March agenda, I think there needs to be 100 people there saying,
Where'd the store
we
go?
know it's coming.
Well,
We're going to
where's
be
that?
back
I can
if it
fix it.
hits this. So I think they really should go in March. And Lupe Diaz said it the best. He got up there and if you guys go to azleg.gov and just azleg.gov, look up HB 2552 and watch the video and just go to you can go through and go to the HB 2552 where he talks about it. I think it's 22 minutes. There's 2 people there talking from the opposite side, and there's 4 people talking from our side. But the guy who brought it forward is passionate about it. And he called out the CBD and other organizations and said, it's really ridiculous. They're trying to take away our traditions, what we love to do. And he called them out right there in the room. And he basically said, I'm going to poke the bear in the eye with this one. And he said, all these groups came to me and said, push the bill out. Don't let it go through. And he said that was crazy. And he had over 200 emails. And all you people, and I'm going to call out Dean Ross again, who said we're ridiculous and stupid and I'm an idiot and whatever else he said. He's on another podcast. They must have met his terms. But we had people from other states. And he was like, I was amazed. People from other states emailed in. And people think it don't matter. It may not to this guy, but it does to Lupe Diaz. Period. So you have to understand that. And when he sat there and said, I seen an interview with the houndsman that inspired me, and Chuck Podolak was like, that's him right there. Chris Watson did that. That makes you feel good. So all
Heck
those
yeah.
people who think organizations are just leftovers, guess what? People eat leftovers, and they're just as good as they cook sometimes. And it fills your belly just as much. And we filled his belly with leftovers.
Hell,
Anybody
sometimes
that think organizations and clubs don't do anything need to think, when's the last time anybody with a PKC membership had to worry about an anti-hound hunting bill? It don't happen. They're not in Ohio talking about, let's get rid of these hunting dogs. It's never going to happen. You know, you have an event in a town brings in $14 million in 3 days. That shit's safe. The problem with us is there's about 11 of us in the whole country, you know what I mean, out here, and they're just picking us off. But if we don't fight, we lose everything. Look, California, look, Oregon, look, Washington. It's stupid. That guy is sitting over in a safe space on private property hunting an invasive species where the state puts a bounty on them. Nobody's coming for those pigs. They'll be the last to go.
Yep.
no.
Hey, so Chris, have you heard of like the AKC, PKC, all those bigger coon hunting groups, clubs? Have they tried, or have any of them engaged in any of the Western issues?
Probably not.
No,
Not
I don't. Hey, did they not help out with Colorado or something?
I don't know. That's why I was asking.
They
To
might
my
have.
understanding, it didn't happen on a club level. I know Roger Dale ain't about to call nobody and give money away for anything that don't affect you, but like individuals, yeah, as far as I understand.
Robert Chase is
And what's
on
going to
here, and he
happen with
stayed-
that is
I did, and I'm a PKC member.
Yeah, but I was just talking about like the clubs themselves, like the presidents.
UKC.
Are they coming out and saying, "Hey, our brothers out here, brothers and sisters out here in this such state, they're fighting this battle with the same people that are fighting us."
UKC probably
AKC
wouldn't, because they're
'Cause it's
more
all
for the
paid
show
for dogs.
dogs. Well, they're all for the show dogs. Now,
Okay.
yes, they have hunting programs and support hunting with dogs, but not to that level.
Well, what?
It
But-
doesn't affect
Well,
their
we need to get it
dogs, I
through to
guess.
them that it's not just hunting that these
Right.
people are after. They're just after hunting right now because that's the low hanging fruit, right? So they're after all working dogs.
Yep.
So
Well, they're just like Purina, though, Rowdy. They support hunting as long as you're buying their product.
yeah.
But if you're not buying their product, then they're not selling. You know,
I
they're
got
not
you.
buying what you're selling. So,
Yep.
and that's like
no,
PKC.
it's all
it's a hunting organization. It doesn't have anything to do with show dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and they're only registered so that they can
they
DNA
go after
test them and track them and make sure you're not cheating.
those
We all are
those
registered
animal
on
guys
dog.
go after those dressage.
Yeah.
Yep.
They go after dressage. They go after what's the
They go after those
polo
dressage
water
horses too.
not water polo, but the polo horses, race horses. you know,
Cutting
all the
horses?
rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had activists show up to
Yep.
Prescott last year.
Yep.
We all
the
ought to
rodeo?
get a club member that can register our dogs, and then we'd be one of them. You know, then maybe they look our way a little more.
Well, it depends though, because I live in a county in New Mexico where they said 25 years ago that you couldn't have more than a certain number of dogs without having a kennel license and a breeder certificate. And everybody said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And if somebody turns me in, I'm going to burn their damn house down."
Yeah.
You know, so you everything it on the surface, everything looks like it'll be okay, and we can skirt around this, and it's not going to affect us. But there's a side to everything that their agenda can be exposed, and their agenda is not friendly. Just like, what the heck has it got to every working dog? So I got a Great Pyrenees out here that runs loose, and he chases coyotes all over the place. But the Humane Society of the United States thinks that that's tough for the Pyrenees to be that in that mindset, that I must have done something to make him psycho. And what about the poor coyote?
Yeah.
You know, so there's
Not
two
that he was
sides of
bred
all
to
these
do it.
coins.
You know,
Well, yeah, you look at all these dogs. Almost every dog has a working dog history. Dachshunds were for badgers. Look at the Irish setter. How many Irish setters are there out there that are bird dogs now?
Yeah.
They
none.
breed, it's happening real fast to the retrievers, the
Well, look at the
Labradors, and all of
German
that.
short hair.
Yeah,
You know,
Well, and
and
on a different note, Benny, and I'll try not to dig too deep into this. They complain about what we do to these animals, you know, when we chase them and do things like that. But look at what they've done with the wolves per se. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but they took
do it.
these wolves from Canada. They took them from their home, took them from their pack, took them from everything they know, and brought them down into these states and dropped them in the middle of nowhere with no family, no known anything normal to them, and just dump them and expect them to live and thrive because they think they should be able to see them in this landscape.
Yep.
So if
Exactly.
you want to tug on heartstrings, they just did the
But
worst thing possible. They took something
should be
from
able
its
to see.
family and its home and dropped it in a shitstorm of things that it didn't know and expect it to survive. Like, I mean,
Yep.
tell me how that's not contradicting
And
There,
everything you're about.
they feed
there's
them.
no way.
They feed
Yeah,
them.
they do. And but there's no way, Dustin, that you should even think that way, because we got rid of those wolves originally, and we're just bringing back their ancestors.
I agree we got rid of them, but I mean, the way that they think, you just took something from its home, you put it in a lab, you poked and prodded it, put a tracking collar on it, and turned it loose with no friends or family in a foreign land and expect it to thrive.
well, that's
Yep.
just like just take this terminology.
That's true.
You go out here and you get my dogs out of my kennel, and you haul them 20 hours and dump them out in the desert of Arizona, and say, "Have at it." Now you've been fed your whole life. You think they're going to live?
Yeah.
Well, two of them will, but the rest of them probably aren't.
I don't know. I don't know, Stacy. I've seen dogs going after coon all over Facebook.
Yeah.
Man, I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
tell you, the last 2 weeks, I have seen more people selling dogs, tugging on a coon, and I'm like, you're an idiot. You know?
Yep.
Well,
It's
it-
there.
And I want to say something, and I guess I am civilized to an extent because I've been bashed for holding my tongue for what I do for a living to keep my job. So I don't
Yeah.
say anything, but you know, it is. All right, it starts with the lion, then goes to the bear. Next is going to be what? Coons or hogs.
Yeah. Bobcats.
All right, but what I'm,
Yep.
you know, you could take a toy poodle off of your couch, and I guarantee you it will run a hog.
Oh yeah.
Every dog, I don't care what its lineage is, will run a pig. We start hunting them with toy poodles.
Boy, that'd be a sight.
I've said this, but I told this story before. I was getting hay, and there's 3 or 4 dogs. I'm talking little mutt dogs, not, I don't know what they were, Shih Tzus crossed with whatever the hell they were, chasing rabbits. These aren't hunting dogs. These are just someone's pet out on a farm. Those 4 dogs, no one was making them do it. No one told them to get them. They were chasing this rabbit, all 4 of them. Natural instinct.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you where we screw up real bad. Those anti-hunters go into these like art festivals, these flower festivals, and they sell their product. How many houndsmen, how many organizations do you see going into a pride festival selling your product, saying, hey, check this out. You know, these dogs, this is what happens when you pull them off a chain or put them on a chain and don't get to hunt. We don't do that. We don't go to those kind of foofy lefty stuff. They do all the time.
We're in
A
an
lot of us
echo
don't
chamber
like-
yelling at
All
each
the
other.
time.
A lot of us don't like crowds is the hard part. Like me and the
Yeah.
old lady went to a concert the other day. Not the other day. This was Halloween last year. And I told her at 9 o'clock, I'm like, there's too many freaking people in here. We got to go. I can't do it. I hate rubbing shoulder to shoulder with people.
Yep.
Yeah, and that, so that's
It
tough
is.
for us as
Tough.
for our hunting society, right? We are, for the vast majority, antisocial. I mean,
And then,
it's pretty impressive that we can get the 6 or 7 of us on here to actually sit here and talk. And the only reason we're doing that is because we've got people that are threatening our lifestyle.
One cause.
Yeah, we're trying to unite, right?
Right now,
So-
we're not competing.
Yep.
Every one of us is competitive by nature
Yep.
with each one of us. You can ask
Yeah.
Jared, how many tracks
What?
did I find while we were out there?
you found more than I did. I think you found like 6 or 7.
Because I was looking for them. You weren't. Remember that on that rock?
Let's get it on.
His dogs were
I'm just
Check
saying.
across that rock.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that's why we are like we are. That's why we're antisocial.
Yeah.
We don't mix, except for when there's one cause. When we
Well-
all have that same goal in mind.
Well, and Jeremy's very, very right that, we're all houndsmen. We all have the same goal. But at the end of the day, I want to have better dogs than you.
Mhm.
I want to be able to catch more than you.
Absolutely.
And it's not as common, but it needs to be the fact that I should be just as happy for Jared when he catches one as I am for myself. It needs
Yep.
to be more of that, and it's not. It's
Do you
hard
know-
when it's so competitive that way.
Do you know what's crazy? And the guys that help me out the most are the guys that catch the most lions.
Yeah. They
Well, they
they're
don't have
not
anything
worried.
to prove.
They're not worried.
No.
They don't have anything to prove because they know they can do it. They're not worried
Yep.
about Jared that lives down here. They're
Yeah.
just be like, I got my stuff. I'll go catch one
because
here."
they don't know Jared.
Oh, I don't know about that.
They don't know Jared.
I mean, Jared's a pretty good guy.
But they know you, but they don't know
He
who
got
you
you
are.
fooled.
They don't know what you caught.
Yeah, I keep that to
You know?
myself because it's just
You're not bragging about it.
I don't send that. I don't tell a whole lot of people nothing about what I catch, and that's just because some guys I do hunt with, and they guide in the same spots I guide, and it's just like we both know we're in the same areas, but he doesn't show me what he catches, and I don't show him what I catch, and it's just if there's a lion over there, good. If not, well, I spent the wrong day in the wrong spot.
Yep.
I may be like backward from that. I was talking to Jared about that a few months ago. Like I say, I cut it. I always, whenever I go south, I ask him if he's hunting because I don't want to be over top of him messing him up or whatever. And I think that comes from being back east. Everybody's hunting the same 1,000 acres of public land. you can't be like, oh, you get off my tree. You can't be like that because everybody's in there. So I see a big tractor, I catch one. I'm gonna tell you boys right exactly where I'll drop you a pin. Like, here you go, guy. Because it don't matter to me. If I can catch one, I can catch two. If I can't catch one, then I can't catch two. It don't make no difference to me.
Yeah.
The same thing goes for those competitions. That's why they exist.
Yep. Yep.
You know, you want to see something? You want to see a MMA fight? Go to a coonhound competition.
Oh yeah.
Or you want to watch a bunch of preachers get out of line? Go watch a Beagle field trial.
What did they say, Jeremy? That they pray before they leave the clubhouse, and the truck door shuts. God don't get in with you.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Gosh, I love it.
I know some.
Yeah.
Lord forgive me. I know some Pentecostal preachers that will throw down over some rabbit dogs.
Believe it.
I'd pay to be right there and watch that.
I'm telling you,
Eye
I
for
have
an
to
eye.
literally, when I film those competitions, especially if there's, I mean, it's worse at the lower level, like the $35 hunts, but the $100,000 hunts, all those guys are hunting they're getting paid regardless.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
you know, there's very few that are actually hunting their own dog with their own money.
Yeah.
But you know, at the $35 level, that's our level. So, I mean, that's why I don't competition hunt. I will cut you for $35, you know, and that's what happens. I can't go to those
Come back
kids.
to flat tires on the truck, huh?
I filmed the
All right, I got to keep this over on this side of the fence here.
I filmed a youth hunt last year, and I thought me and the judge were going to have to take this one kid. He's a teenager. I thought we was going to have to take him out, but you know, away from the rest of them because he was getting lippy.
Straighten him out, huh?
Well, he's talking to a grown man, and I'm like, shoot, you better be glad my daddy ain't judging. He'd knock you in the next week, and then your daddy too. But you know, it is rough, y'all. I'm telling you, we are so competitive. It's sad.
Oh, absolutely.
This does happen, Robert. Right here. Do
Yeah.
you guys run into outfitters paying for tracks in dry ground? There's outfitters up here that will pay for a track. They do it in dry ground
Not
and they do
dry
it.
ground.
No, I know they'll pay. It's no lie, $200 a track.
Well, I could.
You got a good track.
If
They'll give
someone, I would quit. I would quit my own guide service if someone would pay me $200 for a dirt lion track.
Right? I'll buy $100.
I'd make more doing that than I would doing construction.
Hell, I need a job.
Yep.
Call
I know.
me. I'll find you tracks.
Yeah,
I know they do it here in Sholo.
they do
for
it in
snow tracks.
They do it in Montana. I knew in Montana they did it in the snow country. There was an old outfitter out in Nevada that would do it, but I haven't heard that so much now because I mean, shoot, you get some guys, you know, they're full-time guides working for salary for outfitters, you know, and they'll have 4 lion hunters on one hunt just because they got nothing else going on.
Yep.
And those guys are salary. And so it's just like, you see that, you might as well not even hunt that mountain because you're just going to get outbeat anyway.
Yep.
Well, even if you start something, you'd be lucky to be either ahead of them. And if you're ahead of them, you'd be lucky if the guy on the other side ain't catching up.
Yeah, they'll leapfrog you. You'll start it in this canyon. Another guy's already started at the next canyon. You'll end up in the same tree, but your dogs are behind him.
Yep.
That was the dangest thing I had to get used to because I thought, man, I got fast dogs, you know, like you ain't gonna beat me to the wood. Yeah, it don't work like that. It's yeah, I thought I wasn't gonna have to worry about it. You know what I mean? I thought I could just dump on them and tear them up, but it's rough out here, man. And there's people everywhere. Everywhere I go.
Derek,
yeah,
you just need squirrel dogs.
right. I got a Leica cross ET. I couldn't hardly break him off squirrels this early in the season, sucker. I need to. I'd like to.
Like my buddies in Nevada. Nevada's a mining state. A bunch of miners out there. Well, when you're 7 on, 7 off, and you and 4 other buddies all own 3 dogs
might move over there.
You and 3 buddies own 3 hounds apiece. Well, now you got 3, 4, 5, 6 trucks running one mountain range.
Yep.
I've had buddies turn loose on a lion track and they're walking to their dogs, and a guy's dragging a dead lion down.
Yep.
It's like that in West Virginia too. You'll tree a dead bear for sure. That happens all the time. Get in there and get up there and then see the gut pile laying over there.
Oh yeah, like when I lived in Nevada and hunted Nevada in the winters, it was you saw a certain color truck and you're just like, I'm just gonna turn around and go to a different range because I know his brother's 2 canyons over.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's because that's
Reminds me
something
of a
that-
story. That
We
reminds me of
tried
a
to
story
do that,
where
Jared.
running
Just
with
didn't work.
Yeah.
I was running with a guy and we had a rig and I was in my 80 Toyota and I didn't have no bars and had a hard rig. I'm talking a shaker box rig. And I called the radio and I said, hey, I got a rig over here, but I hear your dogs too. I don't know if they're barking. I knew they weren't, but he's one of them guys that are like, oh, they're probably just barking. That's what he said. They're probably just barking because of my dogs, because his dogs were better and everything. Well, I had a dog slip out sideways and I called him and said, hey, man, I had 2 of them. I said, 2 dogs jump out. And it was before light, and I'm like, God dang it. And I didn't exactly run too many good callers back then, and
It's probably your good welds on that dog box.
Yeah.
which one? Hey,
On
it's
that
bed
right
frame,
side.
man. It's bed frame.
right.
That's what
bed
his
frame.
excuse was, Jared.
That you could see where it penetrated the bed frame and broke. Anyways,
Well, that one dog was in the front,
Yeah.
bailing out
yeah,
the
that's
window.
all right. That's all right. And man, so they went after it, and I heard them pass the mountain and go. So I went all the way around, and I'm shocking them, and they're not doing nothing. They're just still opening up. I called my guy and I said, hey, you got a dog out over here? He goes, no. And then I hear a gunshot behind me. I'm like, what the hell? I don't think I had GPS. I think I just had shot collars in. And he said, Chris, you shoot? And I said, no. He goes, someone shot over here. Probably, I'm still trying to find my dog. I thought the color didn't work.
Okay.
And he says, hey, your dogs, I think, are over here. I can hear them up here. So I turn around. He calls me like 30 minutes later and says, well, he said, did you shoot? I said, 30 minutes later, he goes, did you shoot that bear? I said, no, I'm trying to find dogs. He goes, someone shot that bear up there. Someone shot a bear up here. He goes, I just rigged all the way down the road. Someone had come in, shot the bear our dogs were on, didn't even gut it. He had to pull right up tree, throw it on his truck, and he took off down the road. Well, his dogs were rigging that truck because they had the bear on it. He rigged it all the way down the road to the main road, and that guy was headed out. Someone shot our bear, kicked my dogs off. He was like supposed to be a badass. He's like, Chris, go up there and see if they shot our bear. I'm like, I'll go up there and see, and they were already gone. They had shot that bear and threw it, didn't even gut it, threw it in the truck and bailed. Just a little story. You reminded of me when you telling that other story.
Can I tell a story real quick about bear hunting?
It happens. They beat you. Oh, yeah.
So my buddy was getting his butt kicked by these bears in Nevada. And he calls me, and his uncle or something had the tag. I can't remember who the guy was to him, but it was family. And so I show up the next morning, and we're driving roads looking for tracks. And I see his uncle on the side of the road with a tripod out glassing. And he's like, I see a bear. And I'm like, sweet, do you want it? And he's like, and he looked at me, and he was kind of an ornery old man. And he's all, can you catch it? Or can you even catch it? And so then I just dumped my box, and I started hiking down over to that bear. Kind of flicked him the middle finger as he couldn't see me because I didn't want to be rude. And I start hiking. The dogs hit the track, and they take that bear up the ridge or up the side of the mountain, and they're blowing the top off of it. And you see the bear almost hit the road, and he does a U-turn back down to me, and the dogs bay him in the willows and this quakey patch like 50 yards from me. And so I get there, and I got dogs fighting this bear on the ground, and I'm beating this bear with a dead aspen tree. And I see Sitka Camo walking towards me. And I'm like, shoot that mother effer. And the guy goes, boom, thwack. Again, boom, thwack. The bear takes off out of the Quakies. And I get out, and it was thicker and shit in those Quakies. All the leaves were yellow and all that stuff. And I get out of that Quakey patch, and I look at the guy, and I go, who the F are you? And he was all, I was sitting there putting a stock on that bear, and your dogs ran it by me, and your puppy saw me and started hanging out with me. And I'm like, oh shit, this is bad. My buddy gets on the radio, and he's all, did you just shoot that mother effing bear? And I'm like, no, I'll get up there and I'll explain it. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
You
that's
know
a
that
good one.
the first lion I shot, we were deer hunting down in 27, and with me and my son and my dad kind of spread out going down these canyons, and I hear boom. I said, "Is it a deer? Is it a deer?" And I start walking over there. I go there. Did you see deer? And he goes, "No, it's a lion." I said, "Where's it at?" He goes, "It's at that pine tree. It's like 300 yards across." And I had my 6mm, the scope, and I said, he goes, "It's under the pine tree." I said,
How many
"I don't
shots
see it." He goes,
did it
"No,
take you?
one, buddy.
That's besides.
It
the
wasn't
point,
a
Jeremy.
cricket. It wasn't a cricket 22."
Look at
And
Just
I
22
said,
bullets went up.
I said, he goes, "No, the dead one." And I guess by the time I scoped down and seen that lion, he had said, "Tell me where I hit." And that lion got my scope, and I said, "Boom!" And I killed it dead. And then
That
my
was
dumb
luck.
12-year-old son runs down there and is trying to find it. I'm like, dude, he might not even be dead. Like, but I'd hit it. Good shot. My dad never lets. I owe him a line, he says. So we got to get him a line. I didn't hear him
Hey,
say,
Skip.
where do I hit? I just
I know
seen
where
the line.
one was a couple months ago.
We haven't got that far, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go,
Did
being
we figure out how
reasonable
much it
over
costs
here.
to run hounds?
Pretty much.
We're
Depends
working
on
that way.
if there's accident prone as mine are.
There's a lot that factors into it.
Well,
There
Jared-
really is.
Jared texts me and says, "What?" Yeah, well, Jared said, what do you mean? What do we spend on everything?" I said, everything. Start to
Wow,
finish,
Jared.
dog food, $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
tires for your
Jared's
truck,
price just went
gas, oil
Yeah.
changes.
Mine went up a lot this year.
Mhm.
It's getting
You know-
ready to go
you know-
up this weekend.
You
Yep.
guys aren't driving as far as I am.
That's true.
Nope. Well, we probably are.
I bet I might be.
If you add up
No,
all the
I
miles,
I drove. Let's see, 40 hours. Let's see, 80 hours. Twice. It was not fun.
No.
Nah.
there it is right here.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
Most
the
guys
truth
Cost most
right
guys a
there.
marriage.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
I
that
think there's
that
only
divorce-
a handful.
cost
Chris,
you more than
Chris, what number are you
all-
on?
I'm only on number 3.
Only three.
Only.
So there was a old timer that helped me out in hounds in Nevada, and the first time I met him, we were in a bar, and we were talking about hounds and stuff, and he's like, "You got a girlfriend or anything?" And I'm like, "No, nothing." He's like, "That's good." I was like, "You married?" And he's like, "No, I'm on my 6th divorce. I'm starting to think it's me."
Starting to.
He's a hard learner.
Yeah, that's
Slow
big of
learner.
him.
My lady, she's talking about what she wants to move out of the desert. Now that I've just got settled, she's wanting to go back east. And whatever. So we're talking about
That's your
that.
sister's fault. That's your
It is.
sister's fault.
It is. And she's talking about that, and she's like, "Well, you won't have to drive so far to hunt." And I'm like, "I will hunt 7 nights a week if we live in that country. You don't understand. I don't need 6 dogs. I'll probably have 2, but I will hunt 7 nights of the week without fail. I'll hunt Christmas Eve night. Santa Claus is coming. It don't make no difference."
Yeah.
And
Holidays, weekends, and birthdays.
yep.
Yeah.
And there's gonna come a day where you're like, "Oh, we want to let's go such and such for the weekend." Like, I'm sorry, I'll be in Missouri at a pro hunt. Like, there ain't no way. You don't want me back in that world.
That was like my buddy. We were lion hunting. We got a phone call lion at 6:00 at night. Well, come noon the next day, we're still trailing this lion. My buddy looks at me. It's like 1:00 in the afternoon. We're like 3 hours from town. And he's got another hour hike back to the truck. He's like, "I gotta go. It's my daughter's 8th birthday in an hour."
Oh, double time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Start running.
Been there.
Yep.
I think what happens is a lot of people get. Oh, go ahead.
I was up in Idaho hunting, and we'd been up there for 3 days, caught like 4 bears, and the day we were supposed to go home, we went out, caught a bear like 8 in the morning. We were done, headed back to camp, and as we were headed back to camp, big bear crosses the road. My buddy looks at me, he says, "What do you want to do?" I said, "You gotta dump the box. You can't not." And this bear,
what do you want to do?
Oh, this bear took us for a shitty run and wouldn't tree. We finally ended up pulling dogs off after. I mean, it treed once and bailed, took a huge loop. We went back, cleaned up camp, and we were supposed to be home. I had my daughter's birthday party at 7:00 that night. We pulled in at 6:58, and he made a 7-hour drive in 5.5 hours. It was bad.
Oh, we had a practice wedding dinner for my son. My cousin still today. My cousin and my aunt get married in bear season, October, I think it was. And I'm like, I'm not gonna. I don't like weddings, anyways. Weddings and funerals. I don't. You're dead both times, so why go? My son getting married. We have the practice dinner or whatever, and I literally show up right before dinner, and I have dogs in my truck, and that's just how I showed up. And
As you should.
I think I was gonna go hunting the next day because the wedding went till later, and yeah, my wife kind of said, "Listen, I don't think so." So, yeah,
We made a joke.
Yeah.
I got married in April, and if you have something to do that day, guaranteed you're gonna catch whatever you want that day, but it's gonna take all day to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's going to be a race that scatters everything, and you're picking up dogs for days.
Yeah, and
I'll be back in a couple hours.
Yeah,
Doesn't happen.
well, I was
Just
getting married in
loose.
April in Apache Junction. My buddy looked at me and he said, "If you ever want to catch a lion, tomorrow's the day."
That is a fact. That's a fact.
Yep, I'm gonna turn loose one more time, and that ends up being
He's
daylight.
like, "You don't gotta."
One
He's like,
more
"You don't
drop.
have to get to the wedding till 2." And what did you do? I didn't go to the wedding. I didn't go hunting.
I got married. I got married the day after Cinco de Mayo, so May 6th. So yeah, and then we got married, and then and I was in Prescott, and it was really cold, and I didn't take my dog because if I had took my dog, and then the next year, so now my anniversary is in May when it's kind of settling down, anyways. So, but I hardly remember last year's anniversary. I did wake up with bruises and purple lip and all kinds of shit.
Oh shit!
And it was just us two.
Jeez.
So, I don't. don't get married. If you want me to go to a wedding in the fall, it's probably not going to happen.
Same.
People left bear camp to go to my aunt's wedding, and I'm just like, why? Why? Money. But let's get back to money. People get these dogs from what happens, and I have a kid. He was a client. You go out, you catch some bear. I don't even think we caught any bears. Not nothing shootable. He's one of them kids. He still hasn't killed a bear, I don't think. And I've had him on 2 bears. The second bear, his wife showed up and she had like a 9mm pistol in her pocket or something. Like, what are you doing? Like, you have a tag? Yeah. So, but they
Give her the
see
cricket.
They see how easy it is.
The noisy cricket.
I would have gave her. They see how
was
easy
that
it
day?
is. Yeah, I'm not a cricket shooter. So, but they see how easy it is when you're just letting dogs go and you're rigging and you're catching bear or you're chasing bear. And I told him no. He wanted a dog. I said no. I said, don't get into it. Just stay hunting with people who have dogs. And then the dummy went and got a dog. Now he has a bunch of dogs. You know, I actually gave him one of my older dogs last year, but it's tough. You know, collars, gas. You can't leave unless you have someone to feed the damn dogs. You know, lucky I got a
or
couple
take
people
'em
that
with
live
you.
at my house. Or you see, when I come down here, I like to bring 10 dogs at least because it only leaves a couple at home. So it's not a real big deal. But we have to take turns at the house where, like, my son's wife will go down to the mines with them, or like my wife came down this weekend. So we have to kind of just make sure someone's home. But the responsibility also, I'm not a vet guy as per se. I don't think I've ever took a dog to the vet. I've gotten vet supplies from the vet to fix my dog, but I don't know. The money, I don't think people realize the cost. Shots. Shit, they're what, $10, $12 a piece now.
12 bucks.
Yeah. So if you have a litter, you're $60, $70, $80 deep unless you order from Jeffers and get 25 at a time.
Yep.
Dog food, I go through about, I don't know, 2,500. I go through 2 bags a week. If I'm hunting, I go through more, but I have a bunch of meat that I save when I butcher. So just your food bill for 5 or 6 dogs is going to be at least what, $1,500 a year. You know, it's going to be at least $50, $60 a week if you're just feeding 5, 6 dogs.
At
Yep.
least.
But newbies never get just 5 or 6 dogs. They get about 10 dogs because people are like, oh, take this dog. He does real good. Oh, take this dog. He does real good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good for him. I think that's good for him. And I always tell everybody, you don't realize you have a bad wife until you get a better wife. You don't realize you have a bad truck until you get a better truck. You know, you settle with what you have. And I think we've talked about buying dogs. I'm just not a dog buyer, but I'm not dependent on that money. I'm not dependent on catching something. Jared is, you know, that's why he needs to find dogs. That's why Evan Anderson felt sorry for him, because he thought he was going to get lost and his wife would have to take care of all his dogs, and gave him that almost 300.
Mm-hmm. One time
So-
she did have to look for me, and she ripped the bumper off the back end of her new pickup. I remember that.
And we talk about antisocial, but
I think I know
There
what
is a-
road she was on.
But you talk about antisocial, but there is a sort of bromance when it comes to lion hunters. Like
Mhm.
if you don't, well, like Jared says, have you heard from Derek? I said, not for a couple of days. Yeah, he went up there, and I wonder if he's lost or, you know. And
Yeah,
that's why I
I
called
haven't
Derek
heard
and
from
said,
him.
hey. Yep. So you do have that
did.
camaraderie, that little bit of bromance, even though you don't want them in your area, you know. But then I yelled at Derek. I said, why didn't you tell me he's going up there? I would have called the goddamn game warden on you, son of a bitch. But anyway, I said, he's telling me where he was. And I'm like, well, were you here? Well, I'm like, oh man, I would have told you to go here, here, and here, you know.
Yep.
But I think you have your circles.
You
And I
do,
think
for sure.
if you have your circles, it's cheaper. And I think it's also cheaper I used to run just the shot collars. I didn't have collars at all. I'd lose them. My only GPS was someone calling me on the caller number saying, I got your dog, and then I have to do the bullshit lie because I had needs medicine on it, but I had to do the lie. I'm like, well, where's the tracking collar? Damn it. Someone must have stole it. Dump that dog, thieves, and they feel sorry for you and give you your dog back. But I've had people pick up my dogs. The farthest
you had
I
to do
reached
that while I was there.
Yeah.
Just nobody picked him up.
No, he was just going. He just went down there and then got stuck on a track and was going back and forth, But then, if you don't have collars, I went through, God, $200-300 a week in fuel because I didn't have collars. So when I paid that $1,200 for shot collars, my locator was beep over there. I didn't say I was perfect on it, but that's how I did it. And then I got that 220, and I saved a lot of gas and a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
So in our defense, to segue over to anti-hunters, those collars that they say is dangerous and it tells you where the lions are is bullshit, because I've saved a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of probably dogs' lives from crossing a highway or a road or getting on the res with those collars. Yeah. So not only, and this is where we differ from those guys. Those guys take every minute detail of how we hunt and make it bad, and we don't take every minute detail of how we hunt. I mean, do we get into the tracking collars yet? Honestly, I saved 220 gallons of gas last year. That's an environmental thing. Do we use that? No. We're kind of rough, medieval Neanderthal type people. We're like, what? No, F you. I mean, that's how we are.
Yep.
So,
kind of like
so for me,
Dustin's post on TikTok.
You like that, didn't you?
I thought we all hate that guy.
So, and social media, we could talk about that all day again too. But
yeah,
that a lot of people have found dogs because of social media.
No one thinks about the stuff that we do. Like when I take hunters out to these little towns, these little bars, they'll drop $200 in a night.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Just paying for food and a hand of drinks, handful of drinks.
Revenue.
Yeah. Or especially like you go down to these little border towns that by me. Like there's a bar down by me. It's only open 6 hours out of the whole week, 1 to 5 on a Saturday, and you spend $200-300 in there. She is ecstatic.
Yeah,
$200 or $300 in drinks and at least $8 for a penicillin pill when you leave Mexico.
That's right. Did you guys hear that Dale Lee story?
You'd tell it.
So
it's in a
Dale
podcast.
I was listening to a podcast with this guy that used to help Dale Lee jaguar hunt in Mexico, and Dale would always bring a huge supply of penicillin for the dogs down in Mexico, and every time they get close to town, the penicillin would drop real hard. And it's because those boys would go to town and find themselves a gallon, and then, after 3 days of being back out at camp, they'd start having a burn, and they'd have to go get a shot of penicillin.
That sounds like a Chris story.
Hey, I got a big pint of agricillin. It works the same.
But yeah, Dale would get all mad. Dale'd get all mad. You boys got to quit going into town and using all my penicillin.
Yeah.
I was just trying to save his marriage. That's Anderson to Jared.
You did it.
Yeah.
I did the quick math for 8 dogs here. Is costing me hunting 1 day a week. It's going to be about $6,300 a year. So that's about $225 a month on food, and then about $300 a month in fuel, which is about $75 a week. So only hunting 2 days a week. So about $6,300 on the minimum for me. That's only if I only hunt 2 days a week.
Yeah, that's minimum.
Yeah,
And I
that's
spent
bet
that's
you-
$200
not
on. I spent
that's not
$200 on
vet
fuel
bills.
every time I
That's
go.
not shots. That's not new tracking collars. That's not nothing else. That's just food and fuel.
And we're talking about dogs and we're talking about vehicles, but God dang it, if you don't go to Walmart and drop $200-$300 for a weekend of food that you could have ate all week on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's not even my food, right? That's just the dog food.
Yeah.
That's not, oh, hey, I'm going out. I'm gonna go buy a burger at the local gas station out there. Hit a restaurant in town and buy something.
Now take 4 kids with you.
You know,
I try
Take
not to get
9.
kids
Oh,
because
let me
they
tell you
don't
about
do
kids.
anything. I get them anyways.
Yeah.
just buy
I
a
mean,
case of anything and it's gone.
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
can own 6 houses for how many kids he has.
He's
I
got
do.
6
I
houses.
do.
It's true.
I got to sell some of them. You know what? Jared offended me today. I want to tell this story. I said, "Hey, Jared, you need to just charge some more money. I'll come down and cook for the week." You know what this
Oh,
son of a
that's
bitch
right.
says? You know what he tells me? You got to cook. You can't have that old bear meat.
Don't bring
He
that
goes,
damn
I said,
bear
why
meat.
not? He says, people like good food. I'm like, you son. I've
They don't
been
want
cooking
your
for people
shit.
for 30 years, and I've never had no one die. I
To
never
his
had to take no one to
defense, his
hospital.
tacos were real good.
They were.
I told him you ate it, and he said,
They're
"Well, I eat
they're
anything."
good.
I said,
They're
"People
they're
will eat
good. They'll
anything that's
get you
good."
later.
Yeah.
Ah,
They
I
get
didn't
you
know
later.
that. I got a funny
There's a lot
gut.
of bear grease in them things.
Oh yeah, they get you later.
Well,
That's
yeah,
what-
I did see about a half inch of bear grease on that griddle.
Mm-hmm.
Casey
good
was
for you.
threatening to kill him about eating that 10-year-old bear meat if he fed it to him. And
Yeah, he thought it was bear meat.
I
think
didn't
that
tell
was
him.
elk.
I didn't tell him, but that was bear grease he rubbed on that griddle. It wasn't butter.
Who else? Who else makes tamales in camp and fry
That's
bread?
true.
Yeah. I made them Texans
in
those
camp is
tamales.
pretty impressive.
They did.
Yep. And I just made a little batch. I think I could fit, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen, a little more in that little pot I got. And I think we killed those tamales in about a day and a half, 2 days.
Yeah. No, we did.
So easy to throw it on the grill and heat it up.
And they're
then-
still living. I saw a picture of them from this year.
Yeah. Let me tell you about the tacos I made those guys. I dunked that meat out and it didn't look good at all. It was nasty. I'm like, and Cody Lynn stood right here. I'm like, yeah, you better block this because it's going to take a while to cook this grease and, because it's bear. So it has all that white grease buildup and it's good, but it's real pink. Looks like it's raw when it's been in there for, I don't know, 2, 3, 15, 20 years. And I couldn't get it out of the damn bottle. And I'm like, hurry up before they come over. And I got it there and chopped it up real quick and got it cooking. So, but shit, I think I made 20, 30 tacos and we ate all those too.
Nice.
Good.
So, yeah, hurt my
You guys-
feelings. Jared hurt
You guys
my
need to
feelings.
get you one of those little truck ovens. It's a little trucker ovens.
Mhm.
They're like $60-$70, but you plug it in the cigarette lighter. You can throw burritos, you can throw tamales, tacos, whatever you want in there. You got to watch it though, because it'll burn your food.
Yep. They're nice.
I thought that's what the
Heck yeah.
manifold. I thought that's what the exhaust
Right.
manifold was for.
Well, yeah, but now you don't have
Rowdy.
to pop the hood. You just plug it in the cigarette lighter.
You haven't
Yep.
seen where he stores these jars. He's got like a
Okay.
cache built in his horse trailer
Yeah.
True.
under all the other stuff.
Listen, Listen, I
this is
wash
Sanford and Son.
all the rat and mouse shit off the top of them before I open it. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
That's horrible.
That
Hey,
ain't no shit.
nobody-
If
That ain't shit,
botulism
Rowdy.
and trichinosis don't get you, nothing
Nope.
will.
It
It's
ain't
only
in the
on
jar,
jar.
it's
It's
outside,
on
all
the
right?
jar.
They're sealed.
Hey, my kids are iron gutted. That's why COVID, we gave
and they all
COVID
got-
salmonella.
They all got shit.
Yeah.
I seen them
Dude,
twin boys. They run around with 11 fingers.
Yeah, but they haven't died. Hey, my boys, Jeremiah, you're supposed to send me that picture. My boys are in that Sportsman's Alliance. What is it? Sportsman's Advocate magazine? Is that what it is? Sportsman's Advocate?
No, Sportsman's Alliance.
Is that the magazine?
I think.
Anyways, they're in it.
Nice.
If anybody has it.
Because they went into Arizona, the Game and Fish meeting?
No, they got pictures of their bears. They did like a little, they do like kid pictures in there, I guess. I don't know.
Nice.
Naomi said, hey, you got those pictures of your boys? And I sent it to her before she did whatever she's doing now. So,
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Jeremiah was supposed to send me a picture because he has the magazine.
I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen my magazine come in yet.
Jeremiah said he just got his, and I just signed up with Sportsman's Advocate. Yeah, it's called the Sportsman's Advocate from Sportsman's Alliance, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was, yeah.
Anyways, I did get 5 subscriptions because we signed up for an organization last night. So as soon as I can figure out how to do the subscriptions, I'll get them all sent out to you guys. So
I guess
I sent it Messenger. Let's see if he's. I haven't. I mean, yeah, I got like 10 accounts. I gotta find which one.
Running off of what Tim they're saying.
See if he sent it.
His wife and he got married in August. I got married in September, early September, because that's in
Bear
between
season.
almost. That's in between almost every season out there, right? It's that dead spot between archery and rifle.
Yep.
But then I made sure all my kids were born in the spring. So my son's born in late January, and then my girls are born in March, so that I'm not working fire season.
There you
look
go.
at those bears.
There you go.
What's that?
Saying, look at those bears.
Oh, yeah, they're about 80 pounds. I just had them sit way back. I do have a picture of my that chocolate. I have a picture of my son sitting way back, like he's like this tiny, and the bear's like this big. I did a whole outfitter shooting.
Nice.
Photo.
Hold your hands up like this and back up 20 yards.
Yeah, the old fish pick.
Put your camera on 0.5 and get real close.
You want to make a lion look real big, make sure your hunter's like 5'4".
Hey, that's me.
Oh, yeah.
I can make 130 pound.
Don't you say that. I don't want to hear that from you.
That's what my buddy Dale said. Look, that hog's big, but you make him look like a little pig.
Rowdy, you sent us a picture of your lion, didn't you?
What's that?
Look at those crappy tacos that son of a bitch sent me, trying to make mine look bad.
Oh shoot! That was last night. My wife made that stuff. Oh my gosh! I ate till it was freaking fat.
Rowdy said, "We had elk tacos." I said, "They're probably like new meat." He said, yeah.
That's why it tasted so good, Rowdy. It was fresh meat.
Oh man, I ate it for breakfast. I made breakfast, or wife made breakfast burritos. Then I made a lunch burrito out of it. I'm telling her she's got to put it in a jar or something and can it, or vacuum seal it, and that way it's still good. So,
heck yeah,
get out of there.
There you go.
That lion
that's that Tom from this last weekend.
Bent tail, huh?
Oh, it's just laying over a branch.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually bent. Yeah, it's a straight tail. It's just the way his laying.
Yeah.
What's that like, Rowdy, catching them?
I just get this
smile from here to here.
My mouth does this thing and I can't get rid of it. Man, I was just happy to get those females on a one line, let alone 2. I was just ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
You and Jared catching doubles. God dang.
This is the first time for me. I'm sure Jared's done it, 4 or 5 dozen times, but
no, not dozens. I've done it.
I told you,
times,
Rowdy.
not in the same spot.
I told you, Rowdy.
But
you made out with Jared, you'd catch doubles. It
Oh,
worked.
shoot.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's a whole lot
it
of
worked once.
mustache
We're
in
doing
one
it
kiss.
again, Jared. Sorry, buddy.
Like Velcro. See?
We're
We can
batting
be
100.
LGBTQ friendly.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God.
Nevada
I got
boys.
guys. I think I gotta go. I think
Y'all done made Benny sick.
We'll be the
He turned green instead of
no,
orange.
I'm starting to blush.
Yeah, Benny wants in on
He's
that
all-
mustache.
He says, "What about my mustache?"
He up there like, yeah, boy.
So,
Hey, I got a
in the
question
end,
for all you.
go for it.
Go ahead, Chris. The end of what?
Well, I can say in the end, it's gosh dang expensive to hunt.
Oh yeah.
It's not cheap. It's
Yep.
not cheap.
Well-
And if you don't have a full tank of gas and be able to fill up the next morning to go to work, you're not going to have enough fuel. Like it's just expensive. It's Jared, even Jared is a walker. And how much fuel do you spend? You still have to drive out an hour or 30 minutes.
So every week with dog food and gas, I spend about $200,
And none of that goes towards water.
and none of that goes toward water.
there goes the
$50
beer,
for
though.
beer.
Yeah, but yeah, because my dog food runs me about $90 to $80 a week, and then 100 and some bucks for gas. I don't include food in the counting because I
Yeah.
got to eat every day. But yeah, but like then you go and buy 2 dogs.
Are you guys that good?
No.
Oh, Mike, maybe he's on here. Mike Radcliffe sent me that. Lives in
Right
Oregon.
on.
Oh shit, Oregon. I meant lives in Arizona. I don't look like Oregon. Well, I get it looks like a lot of
Probably.
yellow grass.
Yeah, probably northern Nevada and the
There you
Quakies.
go.
Oh, you're right.
Well, guys, I was going to ask.
I
am I
want-
the
I
only
want-
one?
Where is old Res Hounds? Go ahead.
I don't know. I haven't seen any sign of him.
He's-
But am I the only one that drove long distances just to hunt?
No,
You guys are talking.
I would
I
for
spend
bears.
2 tanks of gas every day I hunt.
I-
Every single day, 2 tanks of fuel at least.
I drive up north to Flagstaff and go hunt with a buddy up there. But on average, I just stay down on the border on average.
Yeah.
And
On
then-
an average, I never went less than 100 miles one way.
Oh,
No.
no, I didn't need it.
I'm trying to keep it under 100. I could do 100 easy, but like I what I'm doing is I'll drive 50, 60 miles and then park and then go hunt. Like, well, because Jared's didn't harass me enough. I used to drive a little bit, but so I'll park and I'll just go walk, or I'll take the horse or the mule, I'm sorry, and I'll go ride a canyon. But in the last month or so, I've had a couple buddies going with me, so I usually just drive and we'll go just drive roads looking for a fresh track.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I always pulled a trailer, and I always had at least 2 mounts with me, and I hunted. Oh, I hunted almost the whole state of New Mexico without going way north. I never went above I-40. It got too cold up there. And I hunted all the desert in Arizona, and I hunted the Davis Mountains. And so it was nothing for me just to pick up and leave the house at midnight and be gone. But,
Yeah.
we don't figure in, you're not figuring in the wear and tear on your pickup.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I'm not talking, what about oil changes? What about
Oh,
tires?
maintenance.
Yeah,
the
$1,000 a
maintenance on
year on
everything.
tires.
Yeah.
And I rebuilt. I spent a whole summer, and when I had trucks and I had a welder in my shop, me and him spent a whole summer completely rebuilding my trailer. We doubled up the angle irons under the floor. I bought that rubber composite 2x6 stuff to put in there, and you know, you can just go on and on and on. I put torsion axles under it and raised it up off the ground. I put a 3x5 1/4 inch thick square tubing or rectangular tubing on the back end, so that when I crossed a wash, I could drag my trailer across there and not tear anything up. And you know, the deal goes on and on and on.
Oh yeah.
And then I I built my own kennels, and to buy kennels like that back when I built them, I had 2 kennels that
Which
were,
choice one do you?
yeah, I mean,
Which choice one do you
my
like?
I had put
30?
5 dogs in each kennel in each side. So I had my kennel set would be
Mm-hmm.
25 foot long by 10 foot deep, and I had 5 dogs in there, so I had a set of 5 kennels that were 5 foot by 10 foot, and it was 100% enclosed, top, bottom, and sides. I put galvanized roofing on it. I had 2 of those, and then I put a galvanized roof over the top of that, so that it'd keep the weather out of there. I could get in there, and it can help shade everything. And you start figuring all of this stuff. And then what about your feed dishes and your water bowls or
Oh,
buckets, or and
leashes, tree
then I
ties,
Yep.
had, yeah,
collars.
Well,
I had
you know,
tie out chains. I had tie out chains that was on a big long chain, and then I had 2 foot chains tied to that, and then I staked all that, and then I had to carry plastic barrels with me if I was going to go camp somewhere, and all, you don't buy a plastic barrel for $5.
no.
You know, it's just, and we don't take all of that into consideration, because it's just a cost of doing it. And I don't know what it cost me to do all of this stuff. I do know that if I bought a dog, whether it was a pup or a full grown dog, you can figure that in. You know what that cost, because that came right out of your pocket, didn't it?
Yep.
I mean, look at
Whatever.
Jared over
Well,
there.
you know, I got a generous wife too, a little bit, but um,
She just
Or,
commented
or,
too.
or she don't like you and likes it when
yeah,
you're
she just
gone a
wants me
lot.
gone all the time.
Yeah. Go on, get, boy.
But yeah, I mean,
Benny,
even
Benny brought something else into the equation too. Nobody's factored in horses and mules into the equation.
Oh,
oh man,
Or
or
those that hunt off
you
of
know,
those.
well, I
Goodness
I
gracious.
went and did a lion kill, and I didn't go to work that day. I didn't make any money that day. You
it's
know,
the first thing
I
I
do
ask Jared
construction.
when he calls me is, "Are you at work?" Yeah, I'm at work today. I have to ask him because I don't know ever, no matter what day it is, I can never tell if Jared's at work.
Yep.
I do the same thing to him. So
The last saddle that I had built cost $4,000.
Oh man.
You know,
Plus
you
the
then,
feed for the mule, plus the trailer, plus the truck to pull it, plus the tack.
well, and
Plus,
yeah, exactly, Dustin, exactly. But the bottom line, it doesn't matter how expensive it is. If that's what drives us, we will find a way to pay for everything and go hunting.
hey,
Yeah.
Oh,
Benny,
absolutely.
let me ask you this: is everything that deals equine $4,000? It seems to be like the running
Yeah.
Well,
price
That
tag.
was
except for
10 years ago.
Anything
That was 10
equine
years
now it's
ago.
6,500, yeah. But everything equine, that 4,000, 6,500 is the mark.
yeah, I mean, my saddle was a custom made saddle, but I was real particular in what I wanted, you know, and you can go to the feed store and buy a I guess I guess they must manufacture them at the Ford plant or somewhere where it's all mass production, because there's no way you could build a saddle for $800 or $1,200. No way.
You just got to get these ones made in India. It cost $400 for us broke sons of bitches.
I get the free
And
ones from my uncle that he's wore out.
the very first saddle I bought, my wife and I was young in our marriage, like, I don't know, maybe a few months, and we had a glass water jar, 5 gallon jar, back when they made glass, and we had a bunch of change every day. We'd put our
Carboy.
change in there, and so she came home one afternoon, and I had all that money poured out on the living room floor, and I was counting it. And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm buying a saddle." "Well, hell, you're not buying something out of that unless I get something." I said, "Well, we'll see what's left after I buy a saddle." And so I looked around and I found a wore out, beat up old saddle for $125. Now, guys, this is in 1984, 85. So $125 saddle back then. Today, that same saddle, probably $600 or $800. But I bought that old wore out saddle and I kept patching it together and kept nailing stuff and gluing stuff and try to keep it riding. And I rode that saddle until my local saddle maker said, "Look, I can't fix that anymore." And that's when I think it was a double-edged sword, because he's the one that built that custom saddle for me. But I
Got him.
got even with him.
Sarah. Look
I-
at Sarah.
Yeah, too much. I got even with that saddle maker because so 2 or 3 years later, I traded him a young dog for another saddle, and I was going to shoot the dog.
You didn't trade him
He
your
was
mule, did you? The one that's in the
no,
pasture broke.
no, but no, the dog was better than the mule. The dog was a
You
good
can
dog. I just had enough of him.
I got one of them right now.
you have to do it cheap. You have to really you could look what I got. I bought a trailer, that 2-horse trailer I just pulled down here. I'll show you. I'll show you what it looked like. And if anybody that knows horse trailers knows what this is can you guys see it yet?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Yep. I see it.
There it is.
Oh, so this horse trailer I got for $120. Can you see my cursor?
Yep, on the tire.
This axle is out of a car that they welded to get, like they welded the kingpins on it so it won't turn back and forth.
Nice.
The fender is a piece of sheet metal, I guess. I don't know what, but see how it's for a car. That axle is inside the trailer above the floor. I don't know if any of you have ever seen any of those, but I ended up cutting it up. Where's it at? Oh, let me go. And now it sits about 12, probably 15 inches off the ground. I put that axle out of the storage boxes. They're actually bigger than what you think. You could fit 5-gallon propane bottle in there, or 5-gallon bucket, whatever. And then I put this. It was all fiberglass. I cut the fiberglass and kept the top fiberglass. I still got to do the window, and I built these doors, one on each side. Why they don't put 2 doors on a damn horse trailer drives me crazy. But I think I bet you I'm 500-600 deep into it. But these open here, and I'm gonna put a stove in one, and I have one on each side. The only thing I'll probably do, well, I tried to get Apex dog boxes. He gave me a price to bed liner it all, put a rack on top of it, and put lights on it. So the only thing I want to do now is take this and cut it. I got another 2-horse trailer, and I'm gonna make this straight, this hitch in the front, because it was made for a car.
Yeah.
It's set really low to the ground, really low.
If you would put
$120.
If you would enclose that and stuff
Look at that.
and stuff a wood burning stove in it, I wouldn't have a house.
Well, I don't have a picture of my 30-footer. I don't think I have a 30-footer that I bought for $100. I have a wood stove in it, and
Sarah just said you can live in the yard.
But I'm thinking about taking this. I got a Cummins I want to put in this, put a flatbed on it, and make a dog truck out of it.
That'd be super cool.
But I got a Cummins for that yellow one behind it too. So, yep. But that's what it looked like. And I just started tearing it apart and framed all this up. Put a door on both sides of it. Got rid of all the fiberglass. Oh, it has a ramp because it sits really high. And I'm thinking about putting a. I want to see if you guys can hear this. This is that Might play. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
What is it?
No. Anyway, that was that meeting. It's not going to play. I have something wrong with my laptop. I have my guy going to tear it apart. Actually, he's going to give me another one, and I need a gamer one with the high speed. That was that HB 2552 hearing. That was pretty cool, on Derek.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I don't even want to know how much I have in horse tack, trailers, and pickups. Well, you figure my Tundra, that cost me $50,000. And I think I had it out in the cedars 2 weeks after I bought it.
Yeah.
Toyota needs to donate you a new truck.
They should. I don't know. I've tried to get them as
I
a
made
sponsor.
a whole. Hell, they ought to donate me one because I made a whole commercial for them.
Yeah.
I even got my 1980 Toyota still going.
Yeah.
So,
I gotta get mine in the shop. I beat it to death.
but when you ride in a when you're
When I
running
hunted
when you're running a big 4-door Tundra and you jump back in a 1980, small.
Yeah. When I hunted the snow, it was guaranteed.
What's that, Jared?
When I hunted in the snow, it was guaranteed by the end of the year you're gonna have new upper and lower ball joints, or you're gonna put a new like all my Toyotas had 300 to 200,000 miles on them. You put 30-40,000 miles on in a winter and 4 low in first or second gear at $4,000, $3,000, something's gonna break. Chained up all 4 on 33-inch tires, 35s, what have you. You're gonna go through axles, wheel bearings,
Yep.
U
U-joints.
joints. You know what
Everything.
broke all the time?
That's why
Was the
Rowdy hunts
stupid
out of a
bearing in
Ranger.
my front differential
It's
in my
cheaper.
Toyota.
It is no, legit. That's why I drive Rangers, because I can go pick up another $500 Ranger with, it's probably got 250,000
You're right.
miles on it, but I've got all new parts.
Yeah.
$500, I'm gonna be able to rebuild my truck. Toyotas, everybody, they're nice rigs, but everybody wants $5,000 for their freaking beat to piss Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can keep your
Well,
Toyotas. I'll beat my Rangers.
I was just telling
buy another one.
what listen. We was talking about this when we went down there, and I don't want to say it. I'll just say I've had really good luck with my Toyota as far as front ends, anything. I've had good luck with, and I pull weight. I've pulled 15,000 pounds with my Toyota. That's why I had to put airbags under it. Like
but that's your
I'm at-
You
Tundra,
seen where he
not
takes
your
that Tundra?
I'm at.
Hilux.
Have you seen what he takes? He
Yeah.
takes it up little 2-track roads where a Willis Jeep
He'll
used to
take
go.
that Tundra and trailer. Well, I'll need 4-wheel drive.
I knock on wood, man.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not going to say. I've had really good luck with my Tundras, and I wish I wouldn't have traded my first one in. I wish I would have just paid it off and got this second one. And I would have just used that first one. I would have just parked the second one in my shop and used this.
Parts do you guys throw in your trucks? Front and rear lockers.
That's all I did.
Front and
Yeah,
rear
I've
lockers,
done a
air
lot of that.
lockers.
Yep.
Nope. I didn't even
Electric?
change the rims. I put new 90. I put 295s on it on the stock rim. I didn't do nothing to it. I put a leveler kit on it. I didn't. It's stock. It's stock. Besides the leveler kit, and that's it. That is it. What happens? I think you start putting all this aftermarket stuff, and I think that's where people kind of mess up.
Well,
Yeah. So I've got gears, lockers. I've upgraded my transmission. I've upgraded my axles themselves. Instead of it being Ranger axles, I put Explorer axles underneath my Ranger. And as long as I stay with the 265, 75, 16 tires, it does great. I don't have to worry about breaking axle shafts, nothing. But they're not as smooth riding as a 33-inch tire that's running 12 psi, where I can just cruise and it's like there's no jostling. It just floats through everything. So, but the stock axles can't handle that abuse for those 33-inch tires the way I'm as hard as I'm on it. I am on it.
He'll break axles.
Yeah.
But you
I
have
just-
to. You have to do that on those Fords because it's a Ford.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
I'm just saying.
I'm literally
I
running
feel-
stock parts. They're just stock parts off of a different model.
Yeah.
Like
you gotta have a
Well, like you
nothing
said,
is
you could go buy
aftermarket
a
other
truck.
than the gears and lockers.
I wouldn't take in my Polaris in some of the places that Chris was taking that Tundra.
That's
Yeah.
what I did with my Tundra. But like I was telling Chris, I'm going back to mid '90s F-250 because I drove them things for forever. I had
Yep.
this $68,000
Square body.
deal, and it's costing me $1
Too
million.
rough. Too
And-
rough.
So
don't
my
care.
wife
I'd
and I
rather
are
be
switching
back-
everything
I'm
over
gonna
to 7.3 diesels, right? So I had a 7.3, a 2000. I had a 99. She's got a 2000. I just bought her a 97 4-door long bed. So that's gonna be her grocery getter, and I'm gonna get her 2000. But
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
still try to use that as the daily driver and not the hunting rig. Other than like deer season when I got the whole family, you know. And then the Ranger is going to be the hound rig, back
I
to being
kept-
dedicated hound rig.
I had a 90. I always drove 94s. I had a F-350 with the 7.3, and then my hunting truck was a single cab long bed with a 351 in it.
Oh
And
yeah,
I run them both over 400. I run that gas one over 400 and some thousand, and that diesel's still going at 740. I sold it to a guy. He still drives it,
nice.
and I never had nothing break on them things in 15 years. This joker, $68,000. Now I'm gonna have to put it in the shop because the front end's all jacked, because I take it up goat paths. Well,
Yeah.
like I used to take that yellow truck up goat paths too, and it's a lot cheaper. I could have bought 10 of those for what this thing's cost me, and I'm only halfway paid off. I'll
Yeah.
never buy another one. I love it. It's a nice truck, but it just costs too much. It ain't worth it to me.
I'm a huge fan of those the 99 to 2003 7.3 diesels, whether it's automatic or manual. They're fantastic trucks. That straight axle is durable as hell. They're just built really well. They don't fall apart like the Dodges. The cab seam split on you. Chevys, that whole front end, just those bushings wear out on you fast. Those Ford straight axles, they just keep running. The only issues we've had with our 7.3s is going through alternators, water pumps, or when I let my wife drive it, she'll run over a log and pop the bottom of a radiator or something.
I never had one that new, but I say them 94s, I've had a couple of them. I just like it. There's nothing on it like a picture of the wrench. And I don't need to go fast, boys. I don't care. I'll drive slow.
Yeah, I just want to be able to get there. Yep.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I'll stick to my Tundra until it breaks.
I can't afford it. It's too rich for
And
my
I've had really
blood.
good luck.
If I didn't have that truck payment, I could hunt a lot more.
My old lady, she's got I've used her truck to guide out of that. She's got a 2017 Tacoma, and that thing's got 250,000 miles on it. And I just had to put a new front end in it this year.
Pretty good.
And
That's nice.
well, I did everything, new front end, and then the back end I had to redo the whole leaf spring packs.
Yeah.
Like I got
I had
98,000.
replaced my fuel tank.
Yeah.
Yep. There you have it. It's expensive.
Sure.
Dude,
is.
Not
It's
cheap.
expensive.
Well, did you ever see that video?
And I'm
I
sure
can't
there's stuff
remember
we're
which-
forgetting.
There was a guy in an outfitter. There was a guy, big time lion hunter. He had a Chevy 2500 flatbed with 2 4-wheelers and a dog box on the back, pulling 2 more side by sides, or no, pulling a 4-horse bumper pull, pulling another trailer with 2 side by sides on the back.
I knew. What
That
was
sounds
it?
like me coming to Arizona.
Man, I saw that video and I was like, he's got more stuff for lion hunting than I have equity in my house.
I knew a rancher that had a Tundra that had a gooseneck in it,
Yeah.
and he'd run back Texas all over, haul 20, 30 cattle in it. My buddy just put a gooseneck in his. and he has the V6 because they don't make those V8s no more. I don't know if I could buy a truck with a V6.
It's a
It's
V6
turboed,
twin
but-
turbo. My
Ah.
wife drove one, and it is snappy. But if you blow a turbo, you got to strip the whole truck out to replace
Jeez.
the turbo.
It's
You gotta
not
take
fun.
the whole. It's like you gotta take the whole cab off.
Well, Ford
I
started
just
doing
told
that
my
crap
dad
too,
today.
and
I
that's
said
why I
I
won't
love
buy
my
one.
Tundra, but
Those newer.
I love my Tundra, but if it breaks down, man, I don't.
You just
I
get
don't
to
know.
a point. Like I used to own older
wanna work on it.
vehicles. Yeah, you get to a point where you got 300,000-400,000. You keep paying $6-7 grand for a truck, and you end up working on it more than you do hunting. And it pisses me off when there's good hunting and I'm sitting there with a truck in 30 different pieces. I don't know how to get back together because I'm not a mechanic.
So I never had that problem. Like I say, I've only ever replaced like I don't know, I had the idler pulley broke one time, so that cost me a couple hours. And then other than that, just like consumable shit. I did blow a transmission seal one time that took a half a day to get some gasket maker on there on the side plate. But yeah, I've never had like this thing's given me more trouble than the damn 30-year-old pickup ever did. I've only had it for 2 years.
Now, my service guy told me the 2019, like those years are kind of the last years that they're more dependable than what they have after that. For one, COVID. Anything that was built during COVID is, and I know this because we get stuff in when I was building car washes, and out of the 12 shut-off switch disconnect switches, 6 of them be already broke, wouldn't even work, and that was during the COVID thing. So,
Yeah.
but there you have it. Don't get into dogs unless you and if you really want to go broke, start an organization. You'll save a little money because you don't get to hunt, but you're still driving all over the place.
Right.
Give you a little word of wisdom.
Mhm.
Find a job that provides a company vehicle.
Oh man, I wish.
Then you got to go to work every day because you have a vehicle and they expect you
Well,
to show up.
I go to
Yeah.
work every day and I'm on call 24/7, but I can drive their vehicle to the woods.
Nice.
Mine gets less mileage put on it.
Mine don't.
Between me and
Guys, isn't this the same as when young people get married and they say, well, we're going to wait to have kids till we can afford it? And if that were really truly the case, they'd never have kids. It's kind of the same thing with this hound deal.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah,
got to
I
jump
mean-
in and you got to make your mistakes and you got to learn by them.
It's so
Yeah.
expensive. Chris is
I
selling his
agree, Benny.
DNA.
Try.
It costs too
It's
much
not
to worry about. You're gonna be broke. Might as well just enjoy it.
You only
Absolutely.
get to live once.
Absolutely.
When I first got into hound hunting, the guy made it sound. I met this guy at a bar. We used to shoot pool together, and I had bird dogs, and so did he. And then he showed me a picture of a lion on a ledge with his hounds, and I was like, I got to do that. And he's like, it's not bad. You just need a truck and like 2 dogs, tracking collar. He's like, that's it.
Whatever.
Sold it to you right. You bought
Hey,
into it.
hey,
hook,
the
line, and
story
sinker.
started out right, Benny. He was at
Yeah.
a bar. And
Yeah.
then he met
Two
a
dog-
guy.
2 dog guys walk into a bar.
Yep.
One
He's
had
like,
sinker
yeah.
written on his forehead. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yep.
But
Gotcha.
in all seriousness, this depends on the type of hunting you're doing, what dogs are required, you know, and how hard you're going to push it, how many dogs you got to have.
Yep.
And you always need one more.
Always
Just one
need
more
one.
dog
One more.
One better dog.
Yep.
or 2.
Or
Yeah.
all of them. I'll
Or
take
you need
all.
or you need a reset button like me and just get rid of everything you got and buy new shit. But I can't afford it.
Sometimes it's better just to work on what you got there.
That's all I can do. Yeah. I ain't got $40,000 to buy new.
Oh yeah.
That's a fact. Well, guys, did we get our point across?
Yep.
It costs a lot and don't keep track.
Yeah, just don't even pay. Yeah, it's
If you want to be a millionaire as a houndsman, start with $2 million.
exactly.
Hey, Jared, just remember this. There's always platelets and bone marrow to donate.
That'll last you a year or two.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I tried that, but I had a traumatic brain injury like 15 years ago. Apparently, I should have told him no on that question because that disqualified me from all that.
Really? A TBI that disqualifies you?
Yep.
I
If
didn't
you
know
see
that.
me taking pictures of my feet, just don't ask nothing.
Just look the other way. Why you
Hey,
buy
now,
like 4
Jared.
jars of peanut butter, Jared?
Yeah.
Jared, I seen my kid showed me a video of a Russian guy that dresses up like a girl and talks to people on the internet. He makes a lot of money now.
There you go.
Was her name Christopher Watson?
Oh shit! It's Chrissy.
They got filters. They got
They
filters.
got filters. All of a sudden,
This show,
Chris is playing
yeah.
that new song.
At the end of the evening, this show needs a filter.
You know, we need a button that the guests or the commenters can just push. If it gets too bad, and it just shuts us off. Well, I think we got our point across. It's been 2 hours.
Yep.
Has it really? Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went by
Yeah, when
fast.
you're lying, it goes by quick.
Yeah.
It happens. It comes natural.
Yep.
Yep. Well, thanks for coming on, guys.
Hey,
That's
we all
right.
need a report.
Thank you.
Next week, we all need a report from Jared on this imported dog.
That's right.
Yeah.
Imported dog. Where are you bringing it in from?
Texas.
Oh, was it one of them running dogs?
No.
That's Saturday,
West
right?
Texas
You're
dog.
getting that dog Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
So you'll have a couple days to hunt it before we come back on here next Wednesday.
Yeah. I'll hunt it Sunday. Oh,
What color dog is it, Jared?
red and white.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot. Okay.
There you go.
Red tick.
That's
Yeah.
what you needed. You needed a little more color.
Needed more color.
But
Yeah.
everybody needs to understand too that this is a process, and bringing this new
All it
dog in is a process, and everybody's going to have to knock
Yeah.
the dust off. And it's just not it's a very seldom that it just would jump him on the ground and everybody's going to get along and go catch a lion.
Well, first,
Absolutely.
it's going to take 2 weeks for it to get used to Jared.
Yep.
No, I'm just saying.
Well,
I
that
mean,
ugly of a
that's
face,
my
yeah.
experience.
Well, shoot, if it's just like anything, like we were talking about before, with the like he was talking about taking a wolf out of its house. Same thing with a hound dog. Go from West Texas to Arizona, new people. That's why I
New
like having my
smell.
wife working from home, because then she can baby them and get them comfortable. And
Then you
all
can
the
lose your
dogs.
dog.
Well, and then, when she works from home, all the dogs, we got an 1.5 acre yard all fenced in, so none of the dogs are in their kennels.
Well, see, what you don't
They're
realize
running
just
around.
yet, wait till Saturday night, but that dog just moved into your spot in the bed.
Probably.
Yep.
I hope not. I hate having dogs in the bed. Nothing drives me more mad than that.
You won't be there. You just got kicked out.
Yeah.
That's Sarah's
You wouldn't-
dog.
Yep.
You wouldn't like Stinker then. Jesus.
Right.
They're all my dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you
That's
go.
a
Telly
true
Moose
story.
balls.
You're
Yep.
just
She
borrowing
does.
them
She,
for a couple
What are
days.
you
or
she,
blushing
can,
for,
she
Jared?
can make his feet look good. He's a photographer.
something. Right.
There you go.
Alrighty, guys.
He's blushing,
All right,
y'all.
guys. I
No.
enjoyed it. Have a good evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, Benny. Next week.
It's the